as they continue.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the IUS Horizon Media Podcast. I'm sitting here with the cast today. How's everyone doing this evening, this afternoon?
Good. Hot.
Very hot, very hot. So today, we're gathered here today just to speak on work stories, work experiences, funny work stories, horrible, traumatic work stories, relatable work stories. So before we get started, how about we all just go around the table, say who you are, where you work, and how long you've been working there. I'm Gian. I've been working at a Subway for almost coming up on 3 years now. It's been a ride.
Well, this is actually really funny. So, okay, I'm Kylie. I did work at Bath and Body Works until they let me go. That's a whole thing. So, I don't have a job now.
How recently was that?
February.
Oh my, wow.
I had no context. It
Really?
was like, here you go. I was like, okay.
We'll touch in on that.
Yeah,
soon.
yeah.
I'm Cambry. I work at a coffee and ice cream place in my hometown for almost 3 years.
All right, very nice, very nice.
I'm Veronica, and I worked at a coffee shop, not anymore.
I see, I see.
I don't work anymore.
I see, I see. Do you have any places like you're going to be like telling stories from, like any specific locations in your past that you've been working at? I see, I see.
I worked at Domino's for like 5 or 6 months, but I don't work there anymore.
Oh, I see.
Like this past month.
This past month? All right. But with these places you all have been working, you have some payrolls to share, I assume.
You forgot one.
Of course.
Hello.
Sorry. It's the way back there. I'm sorry.
I was supposed to keep close. I'm Ben. I'm not working anywhere, but used to work at a Chick-fil-A, a car wash, and YouTube.
I see, I see. And you have some stories to share?
Yes.
Awesome to hear. Before I get started with any questions, I'm really curious about what happened with Bath and Body Works, because it seems like you have some unresolved issues or conflicts you want to get off your chest.
Ooh, I could get into that. No, truthfully, oh my God, I love my job. Wait, if anybody's watching this, I love the job, okay? I did. But I think they let me go for a really stupid reason. I'm not gonna lie. They let me go because of school. And I was like, huh? And they were like, you just don't have the availability of what we're looking for. And I'm like, I was working 5 days in December and also going to school. So what do you mean? So I didn't say that. But I also got a text. And I have a really big friend group with my coworkers who I text with like every day. They are my friends, obviously. But I do say coworkers because I worked with all of them too. But they said, oh, it wasn't very fair that they didn't give you a phone call. I got a text. And nobody called me. Nobody wanted to talk to me. And I understand because my main boss was going through stuff. So I understand. But I did have a mental breakdown after I lost my job because I was like, that was a $14 an hour job.
You still deserve a
Wanted
phone
it.
call, definitely.
Yeah.
You shouldn't get a
text to
text.
work.
So that's a tea on that.
And it seems like we have a few other people that have been, I don't want to say let go because I don't know the context to your all stories yet, but you've had prior working experiences that you've since stepped away from in time. So do you all have unsatisfactory ends to your jobs, or do you think it ended up on a good note? If it ended up on a bad note, please share it right now.
She said this is bad.
I quit my job in January, and I did it through a text because the manager was literally so toxic. I could not even call them. They called me twice, and I said, I'm leaving, I'm done. And they tried to offer me more money to stay and take 8 people had quit over the holiday, like around Christmas. And if that wasn't clue enough, the manager comes to me and says, well, and they were all people who had seniority. He's like, now that we have all of them out of the way, you can just do their job. I'm like, no. And that was before, like, he had been lying to his girlfriend, and he was like never at work. He would literally leave minors there by themselves, like two 15, 16-year-old girls. I'm like, I can't leave 2 minors to run a restaurant by themselves.
Is
He's
this
like-
a chain coffee place? Or would you know this coffee
You
place?
would know this coffee place.
Does it start with the S and ends with a
No, it
double?
doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't, but it is a chain, and it was horrible. I don't recommend it. But it was just really a bad environment. I mean, it was definitely exploitation of minors, and I was just like, no, this is not okay. And I left, and I'm like, no, it was not good. He was horrible.
And you mentioned those other seniors that also left Dunkin' Donuts.
It wasn't Dunkin' Donuts.
Okay. Did they have a reason for like quitting all at once?
Oh
Do you
yeah,
know?
same reason. So the manager would literally pry into people's personal business. Like if they requested time off, he'd be like, "So you want to go in?" Because a lot of the girls that work there were friends outside work. He's like, "Oh, you both took off the same weekend. What's wrong? What's up with that? So you guys just both don't want to work?" I'm like, "Dude, they're there every day. What else do you want?"
Also, if you request off with enough time, like ahead of
Yeah.
time, you should just
And
take the
like,
days
you
off.
shouldn't be telling anyone else what someone else is taking off. Just because you're friends doesn't mean that they need to know you took off work.
This is just for my own curiosity. You said 8 seniority people left, and there were still like minors, teenagers in there. How many people were on staff, like working, employed at a time?
Oh, so no one ever took breaks. That's another thing. And my whole time working there, I would work over 12-hour shifts. Never got any break. No 15, no lunch. None of the minors did either. And I'm like, have you ever taken a break? And they're like, no, I didn't know I was supposed to get one. And a lot of them didn't know because it was their first job. And I'm like, you're supposed to be taking breaks. That's illegal.
And that happened in my place.
Yeah. It's crazy.
Anybody who doesn't get a break at their job, you do know you can report that, right?
Yeah, I'm like,
Yeah.
like, I don't care for myself, but you guys are 15 years old now.
I mean, I don't get a break, but how many people were working there, like at a time, like
At a
employed?
time, too.
Okay, so 2
So during a
people at the
rush,
store.
You had to like make people's foods, make their coffees, and anyone who's been a barista knows it's not a quick process.
And then, like, do you know how many people were like employed actually at a
Oh.
time?
I think between 2 locations we had
Okay.
16 employees, but then we lost 8, so there was 8 on them.
I see. Gotcha.
Yeah. So good luck with that.
Thank you very much for sharing. And then for your all's former jobs, did that end peacefully or not so peacefully?
I mean, I quit on my own like terms, but it wasn't. I don't have any like respect for either places I worked, so I wasn't like fired, but I can't say a good place of things. So I don't know how that would fit. How to answer your question,
But you
that's
tied
the
up
answer.
loose ends, it seems like.
I guess those loose ends were tied up, I suppose, but it was messy. I could get into it, but one of them was Chick-fil-A, the other one was a car wash. The Chick-fil-A one could like span into like a kind of topic I wanted to ask the whole group. The car wash one was more just crazy stories.
You did say messy, so now I'm intrigued.
All right. Well, which one you want first?
Okay. So you said car wash, crazy stories, and then Chick-fil-A, that can go into like its own question.
Yeah, like I kind of wanted to get like a consensus because my main issue is a question that I wanted to pose everyone else to get their opinions on.
Why don't we start with Chick-fil-A? Let's see
Chick-fil-A?
let's see what happened
Okay.
there.
So here's a question I have: if you are very, very sick, like the point where you're like puking, and you tell your boss, like this happened this morning, you tell your manager, boss, whoever, saying, "Hey, I'm sick and puking, I can't show up to work," and they still say, "I need you here right now, or else you're fired." What is your
Fire me.
stance on that?
Fire
Yeah,
me.
I
exactly.
quit.
That's what
No,
I
I
would say.
quit.
I quit. The Chick-fil-A is not important.
It's
Sorry.
not.
Well, also, you shouldn't be sick around other people's food
Exactly. That's
Yeah.
disgusting.
and like your coworkers.
Mhm.
That's what I said. I'm like, okay, I can show up and get a ton more people sick, all your employees and a bunch of customers, and have a lawsuit on your hands. I mean, I can do that if that's what you want. Here's the crazy thing. She said yes.
May I ask, what was your position at Chick-fil-A? What'd you do? What was
Oh,
your
I was
job?
just like, I took orders in the drive-thru.
Oh,
I'm nobody.
how many people were there, like working a day? Because the Chick-fil-A's I've been to, they're like a whole crew. Like I want to say 30 people is what it looks like.
was a whole crew. It's hard for me to say because there's people in front, people in the back. There was a good amount of people. You could easily squeak by with one less person, to be honest.
Just because you're sick?
Yeah.
That seemed unreasonable.
I guess you just like didn't believe me or something. I don't know. But it was something, and I just told her that she was nuts and didn't show up.
And that was it? No,
Yeah.
no. All right.
She didn't fire me though,
Oh.
so I don't know what that was about, but it stuck with me because I was just pissed, to be blunt.
I feel like if you're gonna threaten to fire somebody, you got to go through on your word,
I know.
Right. It's like
or
next
it's just like
time.
your threats become meaningless.
Exactly. Yeah.
There's so many questions about that whole situation. I was just like, but Hey, apparently they're more than happy to have their employees work there if they're super sick. So take that as you will.
Do you think you were the first person to say like, yeah, all right, fire me, I'm sick? It's like, oh,
Probably not.
they don't do that.
But most of them, I mean, my guess, just my guess, I don't know, is maybe people were using that a lot to get out of work. And so she's like, oh, this person's trying it too, kind of thing.
That makes sense.
I was like, I can puke on you if you want.
You'd be like, I'll send a photo of my vomit.
Yeah. I'll go in here and contaminate everything to prove a point. But that was weird. The rest of Chick-fil-A was just boring and grating because any customer service thing is you got to constantly be happy and deal with some of the worst people. And I feel as though at Chick-fil-A that'd be even worse because Chick-fil-A is known for their, my pleasure kind of thing, which will
And it's
kill
always
you.
busy.
That too. It does make time go fast though. I don't know. That one you can take or leave it, in my opinion. But
And your question to the table, that was related to like, what do you do if you call in sick, right?
Yeah, that was
okay,
it.
gotcha.
that was it.
Thank you very much for sharing about Chick-fil-A.
Mhm.
Now, you recently left Domino's, right?
Mm-hmm.
Would you like to speak about that?
Yeah, I quit my job. It was taken really well. I mean, it's fast food. People coming out really fast. My GM, he was amazing and great. Really kind about it. Part of it was due to stress and health, and the other part of it was due to just me working there in general. I got paid $5 an hour plus tip. And I wasn't just driving. I was cutting the food, working the oven, helping customers, answering phones, like all those cleaning, dishes, all those kinds of things, which I felt for $5 an hour wasn't really. And some
Oh,
nights
yeah.
you'd come home with barely anything because people didn't tip you. And it doesn't make sense because there's like a $5, almost $6 delivery fee. So they're supposed to tip on top of that, which a lot of people did not tip, especially in the area that I was in.
Do you know how much your other coworkers were getting paid?
I mean, around the same. It kind of just you get lucky, pretty much is how it is. Some nights you come home happy, sometimes you come home wanting to quit your job. So it was a roller coaster kind of job.
Yeah, it's kind of interesting. It's kind of interesting. Like my boyfriend worked at a Papa John's like a while back, and they did the same thing to him. Like he was hired on as a delivery driver,
Right.
and then they had him staying hours past his scheduling,
Yeah.
washing dishes all night,
It
and
doesn't make
mopping,
any sense to
and
me.
like all the stuff you said.
Yeah. They
He
hire
quit too. He was
separate
like-
people for that.
I was like, they hired you on as a delivery driver, which like
Exactly.
helping out sometimes, like whatever.
Yeah.
But like, they're completely
No,
making
it was
two
like
different things.
made our job. Like all the other people who made the food and workers, like if something was about to come out of the oven, they wouldn't move. They'd be sitting in like their chair and look at us. Or if the phone rang, they'd look at us. Like I'm supposed to be delivering pizza, not doing all of this stuff. Like
Yeah.
I'll help if there's a rush or something, but it's not my. It's not
Yeah,
supposed to be
and
my
he's
job.
like scheduled till 11, and he's there
Yeah.
till 1 washing dishes. And I'm like,
It's-
that's
it's
just-
insane.
It's stupid.
Mm-hmm.
Had something similar where you try to join it. There's a job I wanted at like a bookstore, and it was like half bookstore, half coffee shop. And I wanted to work in the book section. I don't know anything about coffee. That's not my forte. I don't know anything about that. But books, I was all for that. I went to apply for it. I went through the whole interview process, and I was talking with the guy, and he's like, "Hey, here's the stuff you do for the books. Here's our plans. You gotta push memberships. Blah 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 blah." Like, okay, that sounds great. Then at the very end, he goes, "Also, if you work at here, you have to work at the coffee shop as well and do all that stuff." I'm like, that's not in the description. I asked many times in my, I guess, application. This is just for this. I'm not doing that. You can't sneak this in at the end. He's like, well, that's just how it is here. I'm like, then you have wasted my time. Thank you.
Were they offering you 2 salaries for
No.
doing 2
No,
jobs?
it was just, by the way, your one job you want is actually 2. And this is, I guess, exciting to me to just smile and nod or something because I've gone through all the process. I'm like,
So basically, they start off lying to you, don't do that job.
pretty much. I'm
Yeah.
like, oh, what are you going to add now? By the way, here's the third thing you got,
Yeah.
Yeah, if you let them, they'll just keep giving it. So
Mm.
you just stand your ground.
I don't know if it counts as technically job stories, but that reminds me. Do any of you have like experiences or like experiences you want to share on job interviews that went bad or I don't know, were a bit strange to you?
No, all of mine have been good. They've been really like low key.
I have another one.
Interviews?
Yeah.
All right.
Oh, so I was applying for GameStop,
Mhm.
and I went to the first GameStop location that was near the Walmart, and I was like, "Hey, I would like to get a job here." I did the online application and stuff. She was like, "Great, I want to go meet with my manager." Pause for like at least 50 minutes. Oh, he's not here. Can you come back later this week? Okay, I come back. He's still not here. Can you go to the other location? I go to the other location, and I finally meet this guy. He's all like, we have this interview, and all goes well. He's like, great. I want you to work here. Here's your information, salary, blah, 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 blah. We'll get you started next week once I send you the information, like get your social security and all that jazz. I'm like, great. And then I hear nothing from him from a month. And then by this point, I'm already busy. I've moved on from this. I figured it was not happening. Then he sends me a call, and he's all like, hey, are you still interested in this? I was like, where are you?
That's annoying.
My dad has had that happen so many times. I feel like I have so much tea on my parents. Just especially with my dad's employment, because he's gone from like job to job to job. He's just one of those people where he's like, I'll take any job at this point. Yeah, that's just kind of who my dad is. Can't make a decision on what he wants to do. But anyway, it was a similar story happened to him with an auto place, but I can't remember the auto place, or I would call them out for it. But it would be like months on end, and he had to fill out applications. And they just never got back to him until like 3 months later. And he was like, I already have something else. I'm not coming. And they're like, are you sure you don't want a second job? And he's like, I'm freaking sure I don't want a second job.
It kind of honestly reminded me of a story that I forgot about. I put an application for this pizza place, and whenever I went to like give it to them, the manager was there, and so I was like, oh, cool. So I talked with him. He was like, yeah, I'd love to hire you. We'll get in contact, blah, blah, blah. Never got in contact with me. And then about, I don't know how long it was like a month or two later, I got a text from him. And within the text, I don't remember how he worded it, but somehow he thought I was a man. And was like, hey, dude, do you want to come back and work and blah, blah, blah. And of course I said no, because you can't even remember. We literally met in person. Like,
That's funny.
I mean, I guess not to play devil's advocate a little bit. Dude could be like not.
no,
a gender.
it wasn't just.
That
dude.
wasn't just you. Okay, never mind.
No, it was. I don't remember the exact wording, but it was him clearly thinking that I was a man.
What's up, dude? How you doing, my man?
Something
Kinda
like
thing.
that. Yes.
Good to talk to you again, brother.
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, I could get into the car wash.
How many stores do you have there?
A lot. The place was interestingly run. Put it that way. I had 3 different managers within a span of like 3 months.
Do you have mostly like dealing with customers there or dealing with
It
management?
was mostly
coworkers?
management.
Mostly
I mean, customers, I had some stories there, really just 2 or 3. But management was the craziest ones.
Can you give us the magnum opus?
The magnum opus?
Yeah, the crazy manager stories.
Okay,
with the car
well,
wash.
it kind of ties into a customer because it kind of led into that, where they're going through the car wash, like the main shoe of it, where you actually clean your car, and someone's windshield completely shattered
Oh,
partway through it, which that's kind of a serious hazard, I would think. So that happened. And the manager's response was to blame everyone in the tunnel and not themselves and get out of there and move to Arizona.
okay.
So I think that was the climax. It'd been building up to that in a way, but he got the heck out of Dodge, I guess. And just fled, and I never really heard what happened to him there, but the person was still mad and was coming back every day asking for the manager. And we're like, oh, we don't really know where he is. And Arizona, I assume, because he mentioned Arizona a lot. I don't even know if he's there. I just figured it was that because he mentioned it all the time.
Mm-hmm.
So that was definitely the climax, you could say. But it was just got so many managers, and one of them, they like to watch you on the cameras constantly. The guy ran like a boot camp, and he would always criticize the women all the time for dress code, no matter what. Now, guys, he didn't give a crap. You could be, I don't know, sagging your pants or have a beard. You weren't allowed to have a beard. wouldn't care. But if like a woman had like, I was like, I did wear like a skirt of like any bit above your knee, he would notice and will call you and go nuts.
It's literally a car. I don't like because you guys are like outside, aren't you?
Most of the time, yeah.
Like, what does it matter? It's probably hot outside.
Oh yeah, it was horrible. We didn't have any fans up there, and I just a bunch more. But the main one was a friend of mine who I won't say her name, but she's Muslim, and they had specific rules about you had to wear like skirts and like certain things, and of course she said like I'm not allowed to wear that, and they nearly fired her,
Mm.
which that's a court case. That is actually discrimination. So just for context of how it was there.
Yeah, that'll do it. That'll do it. I imagine. So mostly from what I'm hearing is like stories so far has just been mostly about your bosses like being on you and like being unreasonable. Of course, I'm curious if you guys have any customer stories of
Mine
them
are-
being unreasonable and wrong all the time.
Mine are all customers.
All customers?
I
got
have
two.
2 scary and 1 funny.
Could we hear both, please?
Which one do you want to hear first, though? If you want to hear the scary one, it's the same place but 2 different scenarios, but one of them's a lot shorter than the other, and then a funny one.
Personally, I want to hear funny then scary. What are you all
Yeah.
thinking?
Okay.
Funny,
okay.
scary?
All right.
So Domino's was my first job, and I had to deal with my first drunk customer, which was pretty fun actually. So I was at the counter, and he had come in, and he's a Mexican man, and he was asking me for a Mexican pizza. Now, we don't have a Mexican pizza. We have specials. None of them are Mexican. And I was like, what do you mean, sir? And he kept like leaning on the table like this and then dropping his head down. And he kept wanting to like, shake my hand or something, or I don't know. It was really weird. But essentially, what ended up happening was I had to go on a delivery. So I left, and I told one of my coworkers, I was like, hey, this guy's drunk. Can you help him? And he did, and I left. And when I came back, the police were there. And thankfully, he did not drive there. A friend drove him there. And he didn't get charged with anything, or nothing really happened. The friend kind of just, he got his pizza. I don't know what pizza it was. I kind of am curious what a Mexican pizza is. And then him and his friend, and they left.
And his friend didn't even help him order?
I don't think so, no. I think my coworker figured it out. I don't know how, because he doesn't speak Spanish. But he figured it out.
I'm imagining the sober friend is like, you know what? You got this. Just setting him in the dominoes.
Pretty much. Okay, scary one. So there's this place in Jeffersonville. I don't know if any of you know about it. It's called it's on Wall Street. And it's this kind of apartment building. It's kind of run down and more of a, let's just say you don't want to be living there kind of thing. There's always police cars around. And so it was my first time going there, so I had no idea that I wasn't supposed to go inside. But I got out of my car, went inside with the, pizza bag, and I got into the elevator. And also, someone had to let me in. Like, you couldn't just walk into this building. Someone had to let you into the building. And there was just a whole bunch of scary-looking people around. And so I went into the elevator, and there was a woman and a man in there with me. And as we were going up, the woman looks at me, and of course I'm in Domino's attire, so they know I work for Domino's. And she was like, I used to work for Domino's, and I got fired from there for coming in here. And I was like, oh. And she was like, you're not supposed to be in here. And she's like, don't let your manager know that you came in here. I was like, okay. And then she's like, someone's gonna grab you and snatch you up and kidnap you. She grabs onto my pizza box and starts shaking me, and she's like, they're gonna grab you, throw you into the room, and you're never gonna be seen again. And I was shaking so badly at this point because I'm still going up the elevator, and the room is at the top floor. And thankfully they get off at like the middle stop, and an older woman got on, and she had asked me what floor I was going to, and I said the 11th floor, which was the top floor. She went up with me, and I got off, and she got back on the elevator. So I think she was kind of going with me there, which I'm very thankful for. I went down to the end of the hallway, which is where the room was. They did tip me pretty well, actually, and they were very nice. But after that, I turned to my left, which was the stairwell down. I went down 11 floors of stairs. I was not going back to the elevator, and I ran outside. I ran to the side door, and I left. And that was terrifying. That was in my first month of working there.
Wow.
I've been told by many people, like, why did you stay there? And then the other situation that happened there was, of course, now I knew, don't go in the building. So I was at my car outside of the building, and I saw the man who was in the building. And of course, I don't know if he's the customer or not, because, you know, I can't just look at you and be like, oh, your name's Dan, of course. But he was standing at the door, and they're glass doors. And I was like waving him over to come outside, and he was like shaking his head and telling me to come inside. And I was like, I'm not going inside of there. And I kept saying that, and then he got really, really pissed, and he stormed out, and he came up to me, and he was like, I'm sick, and you're making me come out here. You're gonna make me get even more sick. And then he proceeds to spit right in front of me, like, and I mean, like, he like was like coughing it up, and then proceeded to spit in front of me, and then handed me his money, which of course I had to touch and hold. I gave him the pizza, no tip, of course. And then I got back in my car, lots of hand sanitizer, and I left.
And you didn't have to go to that building anymore?
Oh no, I did several
Oh,
times.
cool. Okay.
Other coworkers have seen people peeing outside of that, taking drugs, so many different things. I've been catcalled there. It's not fun. It's not fun at all.
I would have quit. I wouldn't have stayed.
Yeah, thankfully I didn't work there.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. I'm spitting. I don't like.
It was great.
Thank you very much for sharing.
Of course.
Do you guys have any customer stories at Bath and Body Works or coffee? I imagine coffee customers are very bad.
Honestly, the place that I worked, I never dealt with any like super rude customers or anything. I mean, the most I got was probably about like our prices and stuff, even though I don't make the prices, but it's my fault.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm sure as you've all experienced something like
Yeah.
that. But I have a couple stories. There's one, I won't name him because I still live in the same town as him, and I'm scared of him. But there's this guy, and mind you, at the place I worked, there was a lot of like girls, like younger girls, like first high school job. I want to say I was 18, so this is just like a year and a half ago or something. And there's this guy who would always come to our store and like park in our parking lot, and we had like big windows, so like you can see inside. And he'd only come when it was like dark outside and like late, and like obviously there's just a bunch of girls working there. And he'd just sit there. And the very first time he came, I was there, and he like parked, was there forever, backed out of the parking spot like he was gonna leave, went back into the parking spot, stayed for a long time. So I'm like, okay, that's weird. You're creeping me out. And I know who this guy is, and I like he's done bad things to women, drug, all those things. Okay. And so he kept coming back. I'm like, this dude's freaking me out. Seriously. And then one night he came again and had been there for a long time. And it was me and two other girls who were like about my age. I'm friends with him. But he came in and I was like, something's about to go down. He never comes in. Like, why is he coming inside? Goes, like, uses our bathroom, goes back out to his car. No word. Hood up, everything. And I was like, interesting. One of the girls leaves to go get herself dinner, and he's still there. And me and Faith, who the other girl I was with, were like, okay, we gotta do something about this. Like, he can't just keep coming back and just like sitting there looking at us. Like, it's really weird. And Ashlyn, the girl who had left to go get food, her family had came in after she left, and her family was like super protective over her and everything. And so we were like, this is what's happening. Well, we got to do something about it. So her family starts calling the police, like everybody they know. We locked our back door, and I hear somebody like banging at our back door, and I was like, who is it? And Ashlyn's like, it's me, let me in. She comes in, she's like, he was standing behind our, like by our back door. And it's like really secluded back there and dark. And he was like standing back there, and he was just like, oh, sorry. And then, like, the police came, but he had left right before they came. And there was like a whole ton of police. And he never came back.
That's terrifying.
But I was like, I'm sorry. I took so long to open the door, Ashley. I'm sure you were so scared. But she's just little. I'm like, because she's younger than me. I was like, I hate working with the public.
Me too.
But he never came back.
He's good at least. Customer stories.
Okay.
Okay.
My last job I worked at was a bat boy for the Louisville Bats.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was going to do like media there, so I didn't work again this year. But plans changed, stuff like that. So I'm not going to say anything crazy about it because, you know, I'd love to work with them again. But I didn't have any bad experience with them. But I mean, I got two interesting things, I guess I can say about it. The first thing, when you're standing in the dugout with all the players, you don't realize how fast a foul ball comes at you until it does. I've had one, like maybe 3 near misses for just like a month. And you don't realize how fast 120 something miles an hour is off the bat until it's between your legs. So I had one near miss between my legs. It bounced off the wall behind me and almost hit the manager. Thank God it didn't. And one came, I believe, like this close to my head. It almost hit the helmet like piece that I had on. Thank God I had the helmet on. Yeah, you don't realize how fast that is until it's coming directly at you. I don't know how they do that facing their back away from me either. That was really crazy. But the story that I hate telling because it was such a terrible end to the year for me was, so I just got into a car accident with my car and a deer heading home from work and totaled the car and I fractured my hand. So that meant, you know, I had to stay home a couple games. And I stayed home, let that heal, and then like a week later I was back. The first game I'm back, beautiful day. It's nice out. I wasn't sweating my ass off. It was perfect. And, you know, I'm cleaning up the game. Our team just walked it off or something like that. So it was like really like good vibes everywhere in the stadium. And I'm like 75% done cleaning out the dugout, handing all the players their bats and stuff like that. And there's a hole in the floor for like draining the coolers. I think I told this the first time we did the work stories last year.
I wasn't here.
Oh, yeah. I'm pretty sure Jackson remembers it.
Looks like he does. Looks like he does.
So, reminder, out of a car, and my hand is like right here was broken. So, I come back, do all this stuff, 75% done, and I go back into the dugout to just finish up. And I step my foot into the hole on accident without looking. And I like my leg does that thing where it kind of goes in on itself. I did that and I hear a pop. I was like, okay, that hurt pretty bad, but I'm gonna just try to, you know, finish all this up and get out of here quick before this starts to hurt. Maybe I can be back tomorrow. So all night I'm in agony. I can barely leave the building by myself because it was just, I literally couldn't feel anything. And so I'm like hopping on one foot getting out of the building because I'm in so much pain. I get in my car, drive home, and then at night I'm just like, Dad, this is like really bad. Like, I don't know what happened to my foot, but I stepped in a like hole in the floor and I literally, it hurts so bad. He's like, okay, well, if it's still bad tomorrow, you know, if it's swelling up and stuff, which it was at the time, it was swelling up pretty bad. He says, you know, just go to the ER or go to the clinical care, whatever the like easy primary doctors. So I go there, they take an x-ray and I fractured my foot. So I go from one fracture to another within a week.
Wow.
And that put me out of decommission for like the rest of the season. So I had to tell him, like, you know, I'm sorry, I really, really did want to come back to work. I promise I'm not doing this on purpose. But I remember I was in the thing with a cast in the parking lot I said, "Yo, hi. It's a good day today, right? Yeah, you're out of a bat boy for the rest of the season." And he's all, "Well, why is that? What happened? Are you all right?" I said, "Yeah, I went to the doctor and they said that I fractured my foot." And he's all, "Are you serious? Are you good?" I was like, "Yeah, I'm in a lot of pain. They put me on a bunch of painkillers." And he's all, "All right, well, just be careful, please, going home. Just, take some rest. And if you can get back sometime before the season ends, come back and we'll gladly have you." That did not happen because it took a long time to heal that one. And you should remember my arm brace that I had on the first day of class.
Mhm.
Yeah. So that was going on while class was going on. So it was not fun. But I mean, I love working there. So it was kind of a lose for me not being able to work because I actually love working there.
But you mentioned at the beginning, like you have hopes of returning. So is that like still open, working with the Bats again?
I mean,
media, of
I mean,
course.
I'd love to, yeah, but the media position kind of filled up this year, and so I wasn't able to sneak my way in there yet. But hoping with this like experience I'm getting right now that maybe next year, or the year after, I can look back into it.
All right.
Your story kind of brought up something for me. I didn't even think about it. It isn't bad. It's just kind of creepy. It's kind of nice though. Like you'll understand. So whenever I was working again towards the beginning, there was this security guard who worked at this hotel who would order. See if I can remember. It was a large pizza and a 2-liter of Coke. I mean Sprite. It's 2 liters Sprite. So he would order every single time. And so I would always know it was him. And whenever I would bring him his food, the first time I brought him his food, he was like at the back of the hotel. He was at the back door because the hotel wasn't like in operation because he was a security guard for it. And whenever I would bring the first time I brought him his food, he only had $2 for me. He was like, "Oh, I'll give you a better tip next time." I'm like, "Oh, okay, that's fine, whatever." Next time that I came, because he would order like he would order often. And the next time I came back, he gave me $20 as a tip. And I was like, okay. And he had told me his name and he asked for my name. And of course, I kind of had to give it to him because I had a name badge on. So I gave him my name. And then the third time I came back and delivered his pizza, again, another $20 tip. But then this time he asked me what nights I worked. And I was like, "Oh, I don't know. It kind of changes, so I'm not sure." And he was like, "Oh, okay, well, it's nice to see you." And I was like, "Nice to see you too." And every time he would use my name, like he remembered my name. And then I came back to him probably like 5 or 6 more times. And again, $20 tip every time, which was nice. He was creepy, but hey, $20 richer. And then he like just completely stopped ordering. I don't know why. Maybe because I wasn't the one taking his orders. I'm not sure. But that's what it brought up is that creepy. But there's been so many creepy men that like I remember a guy answered the door and he wasn't wearing a shirt. And he had his like a big beer belly. And he was like, "What are you out here doing?" "I'm in my Domino's outfit delivering your pizza. What do you think I'm out here
That's a
doing?"
redundant question.
It's a dad who just got off work.
Yes, but I've had so many, and they're all old white men, all of them. And they're extremely creepy. They'll just make weird comments, and it's just really
Yeah,
strange.
have you ever gotten like the "Can I get a smile with that"
Mhm.
comment?
Mhm.
You gonna smile?
Mhm.
It's like, no, I'm purposefully frowning.
Exactly.
Wait, does that actually happen? Do you have a story like that?
Oh yeah, there's this
Really?
guy. Every time he come in, old white man.
Mhm.
Every time we called him Smile Guy because every time he came in, he's like, "Can I get a smile with that? Can I get it? Whatever." And that's all he did, just ask about our smiles and whatever. But
Right.
it's still annoying. So I'm like, I'm being nice to you. Do you want me to like
Right.
pasta? Like I don't. I mean, you're getting like a small thing. I don't really care to smile that big at you. I don't really.
Do you guys have customers so bad that you have to give them names like the Smiler?
I haven't. No.
Not necessarily like bad sometimes, but there's just people like I know exactly what they get, but I don't know their names. So I'm like, "Oh, there's Latte Frappe girl."
Hmm.
Oh, like whatever. Not necessarily bad, but
All right.
Unfortunately, the local Starbucks knows my order every time I go through because I go through so frequently. Oh, Conroe and Crunch. It's like, yeah, that's it. So are you getting the matcha too for your roommate? I'm like, no, not today.
Once a week, as a treat after work, I go to McDonald's and get the $5 meal deal. And every time I go through the drive-thru, they ask, "Do you want barbecue with that?" I say no every time. But that makes me think that there's another guy out there, a doppelganger of sorts, that gets barbecue with it.
I mean this in the most respectful way possible. Your like prize is a McDonald's meal deal.
Yeah.
You could do a lot better for yourself, you know.
Hey, McDonald's is good. I understand where he's coming from. I like McDonald's.
I'm more concerned about your long lost twin who loves barbecue.
I'm really curious about him. There's a guy who, like, when I get the food, he's really nice to me and he strikes up a conversation with me, which I'm fine with. I like chatting with him, but he says it like we've known each other for a bit and I don't know who he is. So now I'm thinking that barbecue guy looks like me too. Sorry for derailing like that. We don't have a lot of time left, but is it okay if we do like a quick lightning round of just this thing happened? It's annoying, but it's funny to share now that I go ahead and get everyone right now real quick.
I haven't told you about the guys in the woods yet.
What?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Okay, we haven't.
We have to
haven't
hear
had
that
time.
quickly.
You want to talk about guys in the woods?
Yes.
Okay, so I was at the car wash, and so I was up front, and it gets boring out there. You sit out there, it's hot, it stinks, you have to be happy and try to push memberships. And a lot of times you just stand there. So I kind of see something scurrying in the distance, and it's over by just a little forest, a little bit of brush. And I see two extremely tall white guys, super thin, just emerge from the woods and start heading towards the car wash. Mind you, you need a car to go to a car wash. They didn't have a car. So seeing someone walking up either means someone has a complaint or something's gone very wrong. So these two guys, I make the terrible decision of locking eyes with them. Because I was curious, like, is this a Bigfoot? What's going on? And they start walking up to me. And first off, they tower over me. They're huge. They go up to me and they're just like, yeah. And I was like, hello, would you like a membership today? And they're just being complete nonsense. They're obviously on something. They're out of their minds. And they're just talking and swaying. I was like, okay, hoping these guys will leave me alone. And I try to answer their question, which usually just pushing a membership. And they eventually get tired and leave. And then I realize all my other coworkers have fled inside. And afterwards, they all come back out like, what happened? What's going on out there? And they one of them asked me, was that your family members? I was like, no, all my family are the shortest people ever. Those are the tallest people. What? I've mentioned this before. I don't know who these people are. I never saw them again.
Those are family members. Do I look homeless?
So do I look? No. Do I look like a homeless drug?
I'm curious at what
Don't
point
answer
this.
that.
I'm curious at what point in this podcast where like you were thinking like, I haven't told about the forest people yet.
Oh, it was actually when you mentioned the drunk person. I was like, I haven't had experience with a drunk person. But I don't know what they were on, but they're on something. So I've been thinking about the guys in the woods the whole time.
All right. Well, I think we've had a very eventful, talkative, and entertaining session of the iOS podcast today, talking about work stories. I had a great time. I hope you all had a great time as much as I did. And I hope you all listening also had a great time along with us. I hope everybody listening, everyone here in attendance, has a nice spring break next week. And then we'll be back at you with more topics, more discussions the week afterwards. Thank you all very much for watching and listening.